2 weeks ago, it was announced by Zynga themselves that in the coming weeks they will start to tell us more about the future plans for Star Wars Hunters, which in their words will introduce new content, battlefields, game modes, and new hunters. Battlefields, of course, being maps. So in today's video, I wanted to go into that a little bit more and talk about what we can actually expect to see in this roadmap and when we can expect to see it. But before I do get into that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on to never miss a piece of Star Wars Hunters news. So when it says in the coming weeks, what does that actually mean? Well, that was 2 weeks ago already, and we are yet to see anything. It could even happen 24 hours after this video goes up, which would be quite typical. But we are now in July, with Season 1 finishing at the very beginning of August. So I'd say we've got a good 4-week period from now until the end of July that this roadmap will very likely release. So regardless of when I think it's going to be exactly, it will at least be within the next month, which I think that in itself is a very exciting prospect. As for when I think it will release exactly, now that we're in the middle part of this first season where things start to dip a little bit, I think now would be the perfect opportunity for them to release this roadmap and talk about it in a lot more detail across the next week or two, because no doubt by the end of Season 1 they're going to be wanting to talk about the whole Season 1 and then also what's to come exactly in Season 2, so I don't think they're going to wait until the end of July to release this roadmap. So I do genuinely think that any time between now and the end of next week is probably the time frame that I think we will absolutely get it, but we will just have to wait and see. As for what we can actually expect to see, well, obviously they've already said new content, battlefields, game modes, and new hunters, but also just how much of that stuff are we actually going to see in terms of a time frame. A lot of the time roadmaps could be about 6 months, so that we might know the end of this year in terms of the content added to the game, but other times developers will release content roadmaps for an entire year, which would be absolutely ideal for us because it means that we know the game will be getting plenty of content for the next 12 months, which I think would be really exciting. Because that would honestly take me back to the time when Dennis Branville revealed the whole Clone Wars content coming to Battlefront 2, where he announced that General Grievous, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Dooku were coming as heroes, and we were getting Geonosis as a map. That was done in June or July of 2018, I believe, and all of that content then released from about October all the way up until February, I believe. So we had to wait a few months for all of that content, but there was so much hype in the community for what was to come. And then when we got that content in the game, everyone was just absolutely loving it and we were so happy with it. I absolutely do love content surprises in games and, only finding out what's to come, when there's a week or two until this next season. But at the same time, I don't think knowing the next 12 months would be a bad thing. Because if, for example, there's, let's say, a clone trooper hunter being added to the game in 10 months time from now, that's something I personally really want, and if I know that it's actually happening, I'll have a huge amount of excitement for that, and it also means I wouldn't have to keep on begging Zynga to add it into the game. So let's say it is 12 months, obviously I don't know what's going to be added in terms of numbers. We could have anywhere between a hunter every single season, which if a season's about 2 months, we could get 6 new hunters into the game. Some seasons maybe they do 2 hunters. I doubt they do that, but maybe they do. They could add a couple of maps or just 1 map per season. Sometimes they might change it around and so on, but I think minimum it would be pretty good to see at least 6 hunters, maybe 6 to 8 maps as well. Game modes, I wouldn't necessarily expect to see a huge amount, honestly, but another couple game modes plus Huttball and Escort in the game back fully would be awesome to see. And then as for new content, that could be referring to cosmetics and other in-game features such as things like private matches or a guild system or whatever it could be. There is a lot that this game can do, so I'm really hoping that on this roadmap we find out that they are adding private matches. Maybe they announce other console launches as well, we'll just have to wait and see. But ultimately I think this roadmap really could contain absolutely anything, and I'm just really excited to see what is to come. They could go into loads of specifics and say exactly who each hunter is coming out and what map exactly we're getting, or they could be a bit more vague and just be like, we're getting 1 map here, 2 maps there, a hunter released in Season 3 but not in Season 4 or something like that. They could be super vague or they could be very specific and reveal everything. I wouldn't be opposed to a bit of mystery here and there, especially when it comes to the hunters, but I think for the maps at least I'd like to know specifics. But hopefully we won't have to wait too long to find out everything else that is to come. The roadmap should hopefully release within the next few weeks though, guys, so let me know what your expectations are of that in the comments below. That is it from me today though. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.